It's been dubbed Black Tuesday. The first in a series of major rail strikes over labour reform have caused chaos across France.
This is really catastrophic. Something needs to be done. We are the victims. We haven't done anything. On the train, some people felt unwell. Women were crying. This isn't normal.
Around half of the workforce at state rail company SNCF is on strike, including 3/4 of train drivers. They're protesting government plans to reduce workers' benefits, like automatic annual pay rises and job-for-life guarantees. Workers are currently allowed 28 days of paid annual leave and early retirement in their 50s. Staff and their families also benefit from free or cheap train travel and subsidised housing.
Cette petite musique.
Everybody knows the reality of a railway worker's life. The salary is not amazing and the work conditions are difficult. So I think the idea that railway workers are somehow privileged is fading in this country. And that's a good thing, because we're getting to the heart of the debate.
Unions plan to strike for 2 days a week until June, hitting the brakes on most trains.
1 out of 8 long-distance trains are running, and 1 out of 5 commuter trains are running. Some routes, there are no trains. I'd like to remind travellers to postpone their trips if possible if they don't receive a text message saying their train is running.
The French president says he wants to turn the debt-riddled company into a profit maker. Unions say he simply wants it privatised. But some reform to SNCF is inevitable, given that EU laws compel France to let foreigners bid to run its high-speed services by 2020 and regional ones by 2023.
I'm open to dialogue, and I think the unions must pursue dialogue. Actually, I hear union members saying nothing is progressing. This is false. This is false. On Friday, I announced significant progress on the opening up to competition. It's a gradual opening up to competition.
Widespread protests in September failed to stop Macron amending some labour laws, including making it easier for businesses to fire workers. Until all trains are back on the tracks, the rail strike will continue to test the resolve of the French president's economic agenda. Liz Maddock, TRT World.
So let's go to Paris now, and joining us from there is our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas. Craig, hello. So what has the response been like to the strike among rail workers? How many of them have actually walked out on the job?
Well, the numbers kind of float around. SNCF is saying about 33%, but I suspect it's a bit higher. The most interesting number in this was given by Prime Minister Edouard Philippe a few hours ago in the National Assembly, when he said that there are as many workers at SNCF, the state rail company, who don't want the strike as there are those who do. And this seems to be borne out in these instant rolling polls the French media has been conducting since this morning when this whole mess started. And by the way, as SNCF unions about 25 minutes ago said that they're going to continue the strike into tomorrow, Wednesday.
Well, let's stay on the unions for a sec, Craig. I mean, look, understandably, a lot of commuters are unhappy with what's going on. Traditionally, in France, the unions have had a lot of support, but that's changed. Why is that?
Well, the support among the public has turned to annoyance, and particularly with the train drivers. Train drivers in France have a very strong and romantic legacy. Burt Lancaster even starred in a movie about them. The train drivers here were instrumental in helping the French Maquis fight the Nazi occupation. And because of that, after the war and what they did to fight the occupation, the train drivers were given all kinds of special benefits, you know, from housing to salaries to time off, et cetera, et cetera. And they've really lived off that legacy for years, and with much support from the French public. But that legacy is fading into the past real quick. And people now are, for the most part, annoyed by what they're doing.
They might be annoyed by what the unions are doing, but also Emmanuel Macron's ratings are going down. So Is that a discrepancy? How do you square that circle?
Well, you know, Macron's ratings have been going up and have been going down, and as I know, the only thing you love more than data are your Kit Kat bars, and I'm going to give you what I think is the most significant bit of data. As this strike was going on today, the government released their 2017 direct foreign investment numbers. DFI is, in my mind's eye, one of the more important statistics about where a country is going. French DFI was at a 10-year high for 2017, a 16% rise, 33,500 new jobs, close to 1,300 foreign investment projects. Half of them are new, and guess who's at the top of the list in DFI? The United States of America. And so people are starting to bet on Macron's reforms. This is what you're seeing. The markets like what he's doing.
So they like his reforms, but not necessarily him. I get it. Craig, you know me all too well. Thank you very much indeed. Craig Copetas in Paris.